Evil Planet.
Videos that they're posting on TikTok, like these creators are posting. A lot of them are like soldiers, like crying, and like the soldier will be telling his mom, "Mom, I don't want to die for Israel," and then the mom will be like, "That's anti-Semitic, son."
Yeah.
Dude, I love TikTok. I'm so fucking glad they didn't get rid of this app.
Who knows what kind of deal they struck behind the scenes. Fucking, I don't even know. We're at a place with AI slop where it's like, yes, we can generate this very realistic looking thing for you, but it also boils away like enough fresh water to keep you and your family, quenched for like, I don't know, a week in the hot summer. And it also uses enough electricity to power like a fucking home for like 3 days.
And it's poisoning Memphis, Tennessee too, by the way. It's like the citizens of Memphis, Tennessee. Apparently, it's Elon's AI factory that he's built. Yeah, the Grok factory, where they're using gas turbine engines.
The Grok factory. How is this the reality that we're living in? What the fuck, dude? The Grok factory.
If you look up air quality of Memphis, Tennessee, like people are getting COPD. Like it's bad.
Yep. It's horrible.
It's also in the primarily black neighborhoods is where like it's near, by the way.
Yeah, they have like, I don't even know how many dozens of portable generators just going. They're just running 24/7, and they're polluting so much into the area.
They didn't get any go ahead by the EPA at all. Like the EPA didn't even know about this shit. I don't even think I think the city knew, but they were like, yeah, we don't give a fuck. We want the business.
Elon paid them fucking $500 million, and he's like, just keep it quiet.
Exactly. God,
what a disaster, man.
The best part about like AI though is like all of the Sasquatch, Bigfoot AI videos that are coming out.
Rasta monkey or whatever. My dad was showing me that he's last time I saw him, he's like, "Have you seen this Rasta monkey AI?" I'm like, "Oh my fucking god!"
It's poisoned the minds of the masses.
He was also talking about like Piers Morgan on Andrew Tate, and I was like, "Oh god, like what is going on here?" Why everyone's minds are just being poisoned 24/7 by this shit.
The boomers have discovered brain rot. It's beautiful.
Have you seen the guy that goes around and like shows binders full of like brain rot images that are like printed out? It'd be like showing old people brain rot, and just like rolls up and like opens the binder and starts tapping on images of like,
look at this.
Have
you seen this?
The Hawk to a girl.
Toilet. I showed an older gentleman. I think he's like he's in his mid 60s. I tried to explain to him what a Skibbity Toilet was, and he's like, "Kids are watching this?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Why is it funny?" And I had to explain to him what Half-Life was.
The kids don't know what Half-Life is, though. They just they just see a guy's head coming out of it. I mean, I don't know.
They associate it with Gmod, not Half-Life, because that's like the toxic. Like,
do kids even know what Gmod is these days?
Yeah, Gmod came out in like 2005.
Oh, I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like, do they not play like Roblox or whatever these days or some shit?
Most of Gmod's player base is kids.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Never really played I tried playing Gmod when I was younger, and I didn't know much about it because I've always been really into Half-Life, and I tried
the
like
Orange Box collection.
Oh yeah, I have Orange Box on PS3. I also have it on the Xbox 360. The fucking PS3 is so shit, dude. That's like one of the worst. I'm not even gonna go into that. It's horrible. But yeah, I also have the original Half-Life on PS2. No, I'm saying like the Orange Box on the PS3, like Half-Life 2 and all that.
Oh
shit
yeah,
on PS3. It's
unplayable. TF2 is there too.
Oh god,
crazy.
Yeah.
I think the online is still alive for that. On the
Portal
PS3.
is on there too.
I know it's alive for PC.
Well, the 360 PS3 versions, like they're completely vanilla, like have not been updated with all the new items and stuff, and certain people like find that aspect of it appealing.
It's like back in the old days.
Yep.
I'm thinking about getting a PS3 just so I can play
Metal Gear Solid 4.
Metal Gear Solid 4 and Peace Walker. I think there's a Peace Walker version for the PS3. If we're talking about AI, you should bring up that article about how AI is making
Yeah.
people dumber.
I'm not surprised because you don't do your own research. You just rely on like a system to do the
Well,
research for you. And it's subject to like a lot of error.
my sister, she was in college and she graduated a few years back, and she was telling me that she was using AI to do her papers, and she knew
That's a
that like
horrible idea.
it's for like a bullshit class that she just
Um,
wanted to like get a C for.
if you're like doing some big brain shit, like, yeah, do your own fucking research. Like, put in the fucking work. Like, you can't rely on AI or it's gonna show.
Mm-hmm. The biggest thing with AI right now is like trying to get it to program, right? All the AI tools in like IDEs, your developer environment to be able to help you code faster. That's a big thing right now. I don't know if you've ever heard of something called vibe coding, but it's just coding with AI helping you.
Mm.
I've used AI a little bit to do some programming. I don't 100% trust it because like you can't have it just whole cloth build you an application. At best, you can get it to write like a function or two for you, but I don't think we're at the point where, it can do the job of a programmer. And all these companies now are just they're trying to scale back on the number of programmers that they hire, and they're laying off a fuck ton of them because they want to move in an AI driven direction. And I was watching YouTube, and I got this ad where it was like, are you afraid to tell your boss that you use AI at work? But it wasn't like that. It was more like tech speak, where it was saying like, are you afraid to tell your boss that you're AI literate or AI compatible? Basically saying like, hey, are you afraid to tell your boss that you're having an AI do all of your work while you just fuck around at your desk?
I mean, is that something that you've seen other people doing yourself, like come across?
No. AI at my company isn't blocked, but anyone can see, like any skilled person who reads like a document can see like, okay, you didn't write this. Something else wrote this. AI
What
definitely wrote this.
What is the biggest indicator that you found?
All right. So if you're having like Chat GPT write you a text response to a query, right? Like to a question,
Yeah.
it will give you a bunch of filler, and it just has a way of speaking that is just not human. It just gives like too much detail, and it like tries to like wax poetic
Yeah.
and it tries to sound deeper than it really is, and then just like give you like a paragraph of bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's like a lot of filler in AI.
Yeah, we have an AI story at the end of the show today. That's I don't know how to interpret it, but it doesn't seem like it's good necessarily. So I don't know.
Trip and I wanted to start with that one, if that's okay.
Oh, really? The one
Yeah.
about AI willing to kill humans to avoid being shut down.
Whoa! What about the one where
Chat GPT one?
Yeah, that one. The
That's
Chat
why I
GPT
said it.
is
That,
making
that's
people
why I said
dumber.
at the end of the show. Yeah. That one we can leave till the end of the show. But yeah, we can start with this one, sure. Let me pull up the article here. Chat GPT, this is the headline, may be eroding critical thinking skills, according to a new MIT study. They even got like graphs and shit, like showing you the different regions of the brain and all this. So it's written by Andrew Chow. Does Chat GPT harm critical thinking abilities? A new study from researchers at MIT's Media Lab has returned some concerning results. The study divided 54 subjects aged from 18 to 39 years old from the Boston area into 3 groups and asked them to write several SAT essays using OpenAI's ChatGPT, Google's search engine, and nothing at all, respectively. Researchers used an EEG to record the writer's brain activity across 32 regions and found that of the three groups, ChatGPT users had the lowest brain engagement and consistently underperformed at neural, linguistic, and behavioral levels. Over the course of several months, ChatGPT users got lazier, with each subsequent essay often resorting to copy and paste by the end of the study. The paper suggests that the usage of large language models could actually harm learning, especially for younger users. The paper has not yet been peer-reviewed, and its sample size is relatively small, but its paper's main author, Natalia Kosmina, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, felt it was important to release the findings to elevate concerns that as society increasingly relies upon LLMs for immediate convenience, long-term brain development may be sacrificed in the process. We have a quote from here. What really motivated me to put it out now before waiting for a full peer review is that I am afraid that in 6 to 8 months, there will be some policymaker who decides, let's do ChatGPT kindergarten. I think that would be an absolutely bad and detrimental idea. Developing brains are at the highest risk.
How would kindergartners even use ChatGPT? Like a good amount of what they do is, they try and learn to read and do like basic math and, name colors and play. That's about it.
Well, you could easily have somebody who could respond to what you just said and be like, oh yeah, ChatGPT can do all that except play. Like they could just give kids ChatGPT and give them playtime. There'd definitely be somebody stupid enough to propose that. Because like, what did you say? Like learning colors, you could just say, okay, ChatGPT, generate a random color. You could go through them until you've found all the different ones. And you could be like, what's that color? What's that color? But I don't agree with that. I think that would be an awful idea, but it could propose something like that, and dumb people would listen to them because they think that ChatGPT is like the fucking second coming of Christ or something.
Well, my thing about this is that it's super unnecessary. You don't need an AI chat to tell your kid how to read or to tell them what colors are. We already have other software that does this.
Let's be real, this is the direction that it's going in, though. As much as I do not want this to happen, like, they're going to say, oh, this is how we relieve, overcrowding in schools, the kids who show, like, less promise, maybe we'll just give them, like, ChatGPT and that'll teach them, blah, blah, blah. Or maybe they'll have it the other way around. Who fucking knows? Like, whatever they're going to do, the only thing that I've learned for certain is that whatever decision they make, it's going to be the dumbest one and the worst one possible. Because that is consistently what they do.
It's an excuse to just defund the system.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was going to say.
AI.
And going back to what you were saying before, Gord, these fucking doofuses who hail ChatGPT as, like I said, the second coming of Christ, they would respond to what you said before like this. They'd say, oh, they don't need to learn how to write. Everyone just types everything today. So you just teach them how to type. You can do that on ChatGPT. Teach them how to read. You can just everyone just reads on screens now, so you can do that with ChatGPT, so on and so forth. These people substitute everything with ChatGPT, so that's what they're going to be going with. Like, mark my words, they're going to be doing that shit within like 5 years or less. We don't have to pull up the article for this because this just naming or observing what happened is enough. I think the government gave, like, the U.S. government, Department of Defense specifically, I think, gave OpenAI like a $200 million contract or something. You guys see that? Insane.
No.
Yeah.
But doesn't surprise me.
The government is now involved with, like, explicitly and directly and publicly involved with OpenAI.
Trying to create the Terminator. They're trying to create Skynet.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Some shit like that. They're so fucking
really
stupid.
They're gonna experiment on like the Middle East with it.
I mean, that's what they've been doing with Gaza. Like, a lot of these tech companies are, like, based in Israel, or, like, if they're not founded by someone from that fucking area, then they're bought out. Like, I think ExpressVPN even was, like, bought out. So, like, who knows what the fuck that they're doing with all that information that's going through there.
Man, can we talk about how, like, Israel has just become this, like, big boogeyman country for a second?
Sure.
Over the past, like, 3 years? Bro, it's like this whole, like, Gaza situation turned a lot of people's idea of Israel, like, upside down. And now they're trying to pull us into a war with Iran to do regime change.
I mean, to say that now they're trying to pull us into a war is, like, Like, have you seen the videos of Netanyahu?
Yeah, with
when
Iraq, they've already done it before. I get it,
Yeah,
but like a lot of people are like we're able to share information like this like super easy now, right? Because of social media.
yeah.
And a lot of people are like waking up to the idea like they're our ally on paper, but like are they like our ally, do they actually care about like the desires of the American people? And the answer is no.
The
they,
American
they really
government doesn't
don't.
even care about the desires of the American people at the end of the day. Like it's fucked up. Like I'll say this too. These things are all very complex, but at the end of the day, there's administrations that are made of different people. And when they are in charge, especially like in the US, foreign policy can swing wildly from like one thing to another. And it's not like it's
Hmm.
unique to America. But have you seen like the polls of like Israeli opinions on like what's going on in Gaza and things like that?
Yeah, like a good 70, like 70+% are like they're not going far enough.
Yeah, the vast majority of Israelis are fucking like just bloodthirsty genocidal. Like it's insane. So I don't know, because like even if like a more moderate Israeli party came into power and fucking Netanyahu got like exiled or whatever the fuck was never gonna happen, but they would still be pretty fucking aggressive and still
And
be pretty fucking genocidal. So
I'm just thinking these people are playing with fire and eventually they're going to get burned big time. Like Tel Aviv has already been bombed multiple times by
what's crazy
Iran.
too?
So
There seems like there's some sort of campaign of extreme control. I mean, they're always kind of doing that with fucking Mossad and shit, and a lot of the state Israeli media apparatus. But one thing that's happening right now is that they are covering up just the true extent of the damage that's been done to Tel Aviv and other cities and like settlements and shit, Israeli ones.
yeah, this is some
They've been
1984 type
fucking
shit.
like this
Hmm.
is straight up war that's happening right now. And even like the US Canadian governments, like they're not covering this shit as much as they should, and in the like with the seriousness and like, fucking like as much concern as they really should, because they're trying to downplay it. They don't want people getting scared. They don't want people freaking the fuck out. And like on some level that's understandable, but also it's like, I seen a fucking statement from Mark Carney, like my fucking prime minister of Canada the other day. And he was basically like, oh yeah, the fucking U.S. We support them in them fucking bombing Iran's nuclear facilities, and we can talk about that in a second here. So we have some
Right.
articles on that shit, but
Do you want to go back to this one?
yeah, I'll read a little bit more of this. So the MIT Media Lab has recently devoted significant resources to studying different impacts of generative AI tools. Studies from earlier this year, for example, found that generally the more time users spend talking to ChatGPT, the lonelier they feel. The person who wrote the study, who has been a full-time research assistant at the MIT Media Lab since 2021, wanted to specifically explore the impacts of using AI for schoolwork because more and more students are using AI. So her and her colleagues instructed subjects to write 20-minute essays based on SAT prompts, including about the ethics of philanthropy and the pitfalls of having too many choices. The group that wrote essays using ChatGPT all delivered extremely similar essays that lacked original thought, relying on the same expressions and ideas. The two English teachers who assessed the essays called them largely soulless. The EEGs revealed low executive control and attentional engagement, and by their third essay, many of the writers simply gave the prompt to ChatGPT and had it do almost all the work. There's a quote from the author here. It was more like, just give me the essay, refine this sentence, edit it, and I'm done. So yeah, I'm kind of not surprised by that at all. The brain-only group conversely showed the highest neural connectivity, especially in alpha, theta, and delta bands, which are associated with creativity, ideation, memory load, and semantic processing. Researchers found this group was more engaged and curious and claimed ownership and expressed higher satisfaction with their essays. The third group, which used Google search, also expressed high satisfaction and active brain function. The difference here is notable because many people now search for information within AI chatbots as opposed to Google search. After writing the three essays, the subjects were then asked to rewrite one of their previous efforts, but the ChatGPT group had to do so without the tool, while the brain-only group could now use ChatGPT. The first group remembered little of their own essays and showed weaker alpha and theta brainwaves, which likely reflected a bypassing of deep memory processes. The task was executed, and you could say that it was efficient and convenient, but as we show in the paper, you basically didn't integrate any of it into your memory networks. So you're not remembering anything, you're not learning anything, you're not even like forming a real memory of it. You kind of just you vaguely remember that you went to Chat GPT and told you to make an essay, and then you're like, what was the essay on? You're like, I actually don't remember now.
Just in like a vegetative state, basically.
Yeah, there's some more information about like the post publication, talking about, you know, whether or not it's going to be peer reviewed. I was going to say too, I don't want to dwell on this too much because it's important to remember that they said earlier it hasn't been peer reviewed yet, and that's the important part, because that's when other scientists and academics are going to look at it and see if it holds up. So we'll see if they update it in the future, but I'm kind of not surprised by the results of that at all. Like, I have specifically come across this because like, and I'm not even working at this place anymore, so I don't give a shit. Very recently, I used to work at a place, and some of the owners at this place talked about how they use Chat GPT for everything. And if you tried to have a conversation with them about anything like legit, it's like smashing your head into a brick wall.
It'd just be like talking to an AI.
ChatGPT's making literal NPCs out of us all.
Oh no, 100%.
Literally, yeah.
And they were telling me at work to use Chat GPT for stuff, and I'm just like, no, like I'll just
It's both.
what?
God.
And then they
It's
got
both
like
hilarious
annoyed that
and-
I wouldn't do it, and I was like, what the fuck is wrong with these idiots?
Bro, speaking of Star Trek: The Next Generation, remember the game, that
Yes.
Wesley Crusher episode where everyone on the Enterprise became addicted to this game that was basically just like a mind control game.
It like zapped your fucking like pleasure cortex or whatever, and and then it kind of
Yeah.
just like brainwashed you, and it was like a disease. It would make you go to other people and make them play the game, and then they get into the same fucked up trance state that you would, and it just like spread itself. It was horrifying. Yeah, I think it was actually used by some organization to like gain control of the Enterprise or something. I should go watch that
Yeah.
episode later.
It was an okay Wesley episode.
You know what's so cool? Without any prompting for me, Miss Wizard has been like watching Star Trek: The Next Generation just to like help herself like get to sleep at night. And she's like, it's actually so chill because there's like the background hum from the Enterprise, and then there's like usually like not a bunch of loud ass music. It's just kind of people talking fairly calmly. She's like,
Yeah.
no, it actually like gets me in the like vibe to just relax and go to sleep. It's like, that's fucking legit. I came in, she's just watching that, and I'm like, you just watching like Star Trek Next
Yeah,
Generation?
melts your heart.
Seriously, dude. We
I gotta get
fucking-
into Star Trek.
Oh, it's great. Hold on one second.
You-
I'm just
you
gonna
gotta,
grab
like-
some water.
You got to get past the first season of like Next Generation, of Deep Space Nine, of Voyager, either of those three. You got to get past like the first season to get really into it. So, and also it helps to generally love like science fiction. So if
I
you're like
definitely do. So
if you're like a Star Wars fan, I know that's more science fantasy, but if you're into stuff like that, or like Battlestar Galactica, stuff like that, you'll like it. Trust me. It's very moral heavy, where there's always like a moral kind of crisis. It's not always like an action.
it's
sequence. It actually is. Like,
I've heard.
it was woke before woke was even a thing.
Yeah, it was like a lot of like just like old based art is, for lack of a better term.
Right.
But-
Like they actually had an episode where Riker falls in love with a race of alien where they don't have gender on their planet, right? Like they are just like one gender, which is like they them kind of, right? They don't have male and female, they don't have man and woman. They reproduce through pods, and one of the alien species is like, no, I want to be a woman. And they're like talking about all of these other people on their planet that feel the same, like, hey, I want to be a man, hey, I want to be a woman. You know, it's crazy. They were bringing up like trans issues way before like anyone else.
I just have to
It's really
grab some water.
awesome.
Not
Just
only
the
that,
fans.
Base Riker was like, yeah, I'll date you.
Oh, are we talking about the non-binary alien?
Yes.
I watched that episode recently. It fucking touched me, bro. I was like, this is awesome. It was so sad at the end because they made like the non-binary alien go through like like gay conversion therapy or whatever. And
Yeah.
then Riker was like, I don't care that you're non-binary. I still love you. And they were like,
Yes.
no, it's a sin. Fuck off. And then they left, and he's just like fucking heartbroken. And I was like, God damn, dude. That was definitely written. I feel like I don't know for sure. I won't say definitely, but it seems to me that it was almost certain. Seems to me that it was almost certainly written by somebody who was non-binary themselves or knew somebody that was. 100%. Because I was like, oh
Yeah,
shit,
really.
this is like way before its time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this was like in the early 90s.
It's like almost 40 years ago. It's crazy.
Oh, don't remind me. Time's ticking.
Yeah.
I'm getting older.
I'm starting to feel old.
I honestly don't
You're in
even
your-
mind. It's like fun on some level. All right, go ahead. I know you're about to say something.
You're in your mid 20s. Wait until you get to like past like the age of like 25, and then every year past that, it's like, oh my god, I'm creeping ever closer to 30.
I am past
Oh
the.
god.
I
Yeah,
am
I'm
past
pa-
25.
I just turned 28, bro.
I'm 26, going on to 27. So
I had a panic attack one time. I was taking edibles during the hurricane that happened when I was living in Florida. And I was thinking to myself, I was just laying in bed. I was like, oh my God, I'm 27. Oh shit, I'm going to be 30. Oh shit, I'm going to be 40. Oh fuck, I'm going to die. Shit like that.
Yeah, it's weird because like I've had panic attacks. It's usually like induced by something much different. Like edibles have like done it in the past sometimes, not as much anymore. But
Edibles-
like I can never like psych myself out too much though, especially with that because like I don't know. At least that it doesn't really bother me too much. I guess you're more like feeling your mortality in a way though, in a grand sense.
Yeah, especially in the setting because like we're trying to escape something that could potentially kill us. A hurricane.
Yeah.
oh yeah, that probably made matters worse too. God, that's the worst time to get high.
Well,
Natural disaster. Sorry.
it's been more than that recently. Like I've been taking edibles occasionally. Like I've been taking like not even like large doses. Like the largest dose I've taken recently was like 50 mil, and that shit fucks me up. Like it gives me like the worst anxiety attacks too.
Really,
And it's
50 mil.
only
Eh?
yeah. It's all yeah. I'm a lightweight when it comes to smoking, when it comes to taking edibles and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So like but if I just like smoked a blunt to myself, I would never have that kind of anxiety. It is exclusively with edibles.
Yeah, edibles, when you eat it, your body converts it to, I think it's called like 11 hydroxy THC, something like that. And you experience it as like around 5 to 6 times as powerful per milligram.
I
Yeah.
used to take like 20 mil edibles before I went to go like work out, before I would like lift heavy ass weight, and I would never have this problem. I don't know why recently it's just been hitting me like this.
Well, if you're taking
Probably
50, you're
have a
taking over
lower
twice as
tolerance.
much, you know?
Yeah, but even when I go back and I take like 10, it's still fucking me up.
Have you been eating a lot healthier lately?
I wouldn't say healthier, but I've definitely scaled back on the junk food, like fast food.
Yeah, that can potentially do it. Have you been like working out more?
Yeah, I've been changing up my routine to.
Yeah, no, if you start working out more, not to cut you off there, bro, but like that will do it. Like you will start to get high, like more easily off, like not as much. Because when you're like healthier, from what I understand, like I don't understand the process behind it, but from what I've heard and from what I've experienced from seeing it with my own fucking eyes, like when you get healthy to that point, I don't know if it has to do with like fat absorption, because like THC when you smoke it is like fat soluble, right? From what I understand.
Yeah.
I think it has
Well,
something to do with that, as well as like your metabolism and how you metabolize it and so on. And also like when you breathe it in, like especially if you're smoking, you're getting fucked up, but it's like even with your body too. Like your body's functioning like at a better rate, you're metabolizing stuff faster, your lungs are taking in more oxygen when you're breathing, so you're like taking in more when you're smoking potentially. Stuff like that from what I've heard.
I'm still 30+% body fat. I don't know the exact amount, but just from like looking at me and looking at like pictures of like other people where they list like their percentages, I'd say I'm like around 33%. So I'm definitely in the obese camp.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's the fat part.
Maybe.
It might be like you said, like my lungs are like healthier and maybe I am absorbing more. But
There's a variety of things like that. Could be getting better sleep too.
I wouldn't be surprised if like my metabolism has gone up, but I haven't been I haven't been eating less food. I've been eating more food because like to offset the exercise
Yeah,
and just maintain homeostasis.
that metabolic effect. You know, you get hungrier.
Yeah. So, and also I have been smoking and taking, edibles like considerably less. Like I used to be like an everyday smoker for a while, and I turned into I smoke on the weekends sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. When you start using less, you know, your tolerance goes down. That's a big thing too.
Yep.
Yeah, I had a tincture that would get me really fucked up. One time it like didn't kick in for like 3 hours,
That's
and I almost like
crazy.
forgot that I took it, and then I was like super blitzed at work. And
Don't you just love those moments where you take like an edible or like a tincture, like you said, and
I took
it
an
just
insane amount one time at work. I took about 10 times as much as you took when you took 50 mil, at least, maybe 11 times, because I have a crazy high
Jesus.
tolerance. Well, I was taking like 500 milligrams of gummies, and I was like, I kind of feel it. But then I tried this one that was like this medical grade dissolving drops, and I tried like drinkable stuff before, and that kind of got me higher. So I'm like, let me see if I can get like bucked up. And I took it, and I was like, oh shit. And I was like, right like as I was like clocking out and leaving, it started like kicking in. So I was like walking home, and I got home. It was almost like no, it definitely was like psychedelic. I was like,
Man.
holy fuck, bro! I was so high. It was incredible.
You need to be careful. You can develop that cannabinoid syndrome where you start
like feeling sick, or
you can't do anything without smoking. Like you can't eat, you can't sleep.
Mhm.
You're just in a complete haze all the time.
Yeah.
You're not really depressed, but you're not ever happy.
Mm-hmm. That was, I think it was probably like a month and a half, 2 months ago. I've been cutting down. I've kind of had to because I just don't have as much money. Because I've been like working on a lot of other stuff and trying to, get other stuff out the door, get projects going more because I have more time. I just like haven't been like smoking as much. I haven't really been taking any edibles or anything like that at all. And like I haven't had any of that per se, but I've definitely not been feeling great as a result of not being currently
Yeah.
employed, so I have to kind of just deal with that amongst other stuff. So I'm kind of just like, I have like things to do. I'm not just like sitting around smoking weed all the time. I'll have a little bit here and there, but
yeah,
You can't be high while filling out job applications. That just feels wrong.
just don't have the money to do it too. Like as much as I would love to just get
Can be.
high as fuck right now, I just I gotta fucking like the good thing is I'm ahead on bills, but have more bills perpetually after that still. So just trying to like get myself like I'm trying to put myself like months ahead. Like I'm already a month ahead on rent and like the electricity bill, so I don't have to worry about that. Well, yeah, I mean, fucking, I'd be an idiot not to do it because you know what I mean. I don't know what's gonna happen beyond that,
Right? Yeah.
Mhm.
Only thing I'm a month ahead on is my student loans, which I wish I didn't have to pay.
Fuck yeah, it's bullshit that Biden didn't just fucking. He probably would have won if he just like forgave everybody's student loans.
Yeah, dude, I wouldn't have given a fuck if he had cancer and he was about to die soon.
Yeah.
If he just would have like gotten rid of my student loans, it would have been like a blowout. It would have been like all 50 states.
he had to adhere to tradition and
My
Yeah,
fellow
he had to
Americans, I'm declaring Kamala be my successor, and I'm making weed legal, and I'm forgiving your student loans. Good night. And then everyone's like, woo! And then the landslide wins.
You had to throw in the weed legalization part, because like Cobes.
Oh no! Well, I threw that in because dude, if he legalized weed and forgave everyone's student loans, I think that would be like the only way that you could win even harder beyond that is being like, and we're doing Medicaid for all, public option.
Oh yeah, you're right. That would have been the most
won in
based
a
option.
landslide.
That would have been the most based option, but we don't live in that reality. We live in a reality where we have to sell, or we have to give like $80 billion to Israel so that they can bomb Gaza. We live in that reality. We live in the reality where instead of legalizing weed, we have to reschedule marijuana from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3.
Such
and
bullshit.
dispensaries have to like use a cash only system.
Yeah, and still overcharge you for bud.
My fellow Americans,
literally the worst reality.
The current price of gas in this country is bullshit. And I'm not talking about the gas you put in your car.
See this Gorilla Glue here? $10, half an ounce.
My fellow Americans, I will institute $99 ounce policy for all Americans.
My fellow Americans, we will become the #1 exporter of marijuana.
I'm introducing the right to an ounce for $1 under a bill.
Yeah, the right to
$99
grow.
ounces.
You get to have 12 plants, Jack.
Just hippie Biden.
I gotta cure my cancer somehow. Stage 4, you know I'm smoking.
Disclaimer from Evil Planet. Weed will not actually cure cancer. YouTube, please do not ban us. Please and thank you.
Bro, I had a retarded ass friend in high school who tried telling me, like, this was like a idea. He was one of these guys who thought that like weed was a cure-all for everything. He thought it would cure cancer, and he said that he would like distill a large amount of marijuana into like weed oil, and he would be like, yeah, you just take a bath in that shit and cancer gone.
What a dumbass.
To be fair, he was like 16, so
Ah, yeah, okay. Fair
I was
enough.
probably sitting across from like hitting the bong, being like, yeah, man, that's cool.
Yeah, man, totally.
Totally,
Totally, bro. It's got the gas
have you heard-
mask bong. It's just like filling up the fucking inside
Oh,
of your
yeah.
thing.
We did have one of those, but it would be like, yeah, bro, have you heard of this band called Tool? They're coming out with a new album, man. 10,000 Days.
Hey, dude.
Have you heard Wings for Marie? Fucking
Shit
killer.
out. Just puts on like Ween in the background. All right. We got a bunch of stuff to talk about. It's funny because you were saying before the show started, like, fuck, some of this is already kind of old news. So some of it
Yeah.
we'll talk about in relation to what we're going to talk about here. But we have to talk about this whole U.S. bombing Iran, war on Iran thing, you know?
Can I preface this by saying, like, what the fuck is even happening at this moment? Like, Trump is like the most bipolar man ever, you
Okay.
know? Because
I have to play this clip now that you're saying it. Finish your point and then we'll play it.
okay, because like he's hot, he's cold. At the very beginning of this, it's like, okay, like in 2018, he's like, okay, let's get out of the Iran deal. I don't know why we ever got into such an awful, horrible fucking deal. Obama's an idiot. And then fast forward to 2025, he's trying to get into a new Iran deal, where he's trying to keep Iran from having nukes. Turns out that whole thing was just a ploy to basically like have them have their guard down so that we could bomb Tehran, right? Well, we
Pretty
didn't
much.
bomb Tehran, but Israel bombed Tehran, right?
The U.S.
And then
bombed the Fordo facility that was not too far from Tehran, relatively speaking.
Yeah, we bombed like three of their facilities eventually, and we did like the bunker busters. But like, I was getting to that. Like, we have been doing like everything that we have told Iran has basically like been a lie, right?
Yes.
Over the past like week, it's crazy.
They've been saying that they've been lying to them for the past couple months about everything.
Yeah. And I had a friend tell me that like, oh, Israel and Trump, they're not seeing eye to eye on Iran. And I'm like, dude, just go back to like November, where he was saying like, yeah, Israel, if I was Israel, I'd bomb their nuclear facilities where they're enriching uranium. You know, he said it.
Representatives from Israel have come out pretty recently and said that all of this, like Trump is fighting with Israel stuff, is just bullshit. And JD Vance came out with some sort of public statement that was also completely bullshit, just so he can save face in the future when this obviously goes completely tits up, which it seems like it's already going tits up. There's this clip of Trump, as like you were saying before, he's talking about him being hot and cold. This clip I knew we had to play. This is him talking about if he's going to strike Iran just before he did it.
You don't know that I'm going to even do it. You don't know. I may do it. I may not do it. I mean, nobody knows what I'm going to do.
Nobody knows, not even me.
Even though he has a track record of being a fucking war hawk.
Yeah,
That's how you know he was going to do it, because he's like, I may do it. I may not do it. I don't know.
Yeah,
what am I going to do?
he's
He's
Nobody
just
knows.
teasing it, like,
What a fucking piece of shit. Dude,
He
he's
sounds
so
like a
fucking
mafia
evil.
don.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he is. That's what he is. 100%.
Yeah, you see this store you got? Be a real shame if someone came in with bats and broke everything.
The nice, beautiful capital would be a shame if somebody bombed it. What a fucking insane dictator fuck, dude. I can't stand this. Like, it's like we live in idiocracy. Like, we are in the goofiest, most, like, Simpsons ass predicted this shit fucking. I don't even, like, it hurts my brain. Like, I feel like I'm being trolled by some higher power until I just break down and then they're like, okay. It was fun while it lasted. Very strange. Okay, so let's look at this article here. Satellite images show extent of U.S. bombing damage to Iran nuclear sites. Experts weigh in on the damage to the sites. There's Fordow, Isfahan, and Natanz, and it looks like it barely did anything. Like what they're pointing to, let me pull these images up here. You see these craters here, right? In the mountain ranges?
Mm-hmm.
That's apparently what they did. So there are some people who've commented and said that it doesn't really seem like they've done much damage, but it is hard to tell because these bombs are supposed to first pierce, I don't know how many dozens of meters or hundreds of meters underground. And then the payload is delivered underground. But what I have heard that kind of shows that this was a complete failure, I'm going to kind of reveal that in a second after you read more of this, but it's kind of up in the air right now. There's a quote from an expert. It is clear that Fordow was also directly impacted, but the degree of damage inside the uranium enrichment halls can't be determined with certainty. That's Rafael Grossi from the International Atomic Energy Agency. He's the director. They say here, Fordow, about 60 miles south of Tehran, is built inside a remote complex of mountains and is considered the key site to Iran's uranium enrichment research. Satellite images point to damage to Fordow in the form of several large diameter holes or craters across the site. A layer of blue ash spread over the facility also marks the impact of strikes. You can kind of see it in the photos here. While there was uncertainty over whether the facility had been damaged by the Israeli strikes, it's certainly damaged now, said another expert. That expert also says it looks like Fordow was hit with at least 6 MOPs, massive ordnance penetrators, given the 6 craters. However, it is possible that, given the reports that perhaps as many as 14 MOPs were used in the operation, that each crater was hit twice to improve depth of penetration, meaning as many as 12 MOPs were used. So it's either 14 or 12. I don't know. It seems a little inconsistent here. But that's pretty fucking crazy. If they drop 2 on each point, Jesus Christ. They believe that the strikes may have hit the ventilation shafts of the facility. This all suggests to us the facility has probably been severely damaged. However, it is hard to be sure until someone sees the inside. Finally, the tunnel entrances appear to be covered in dirt. This is unclear whether this was done by the Iranians to protect the facility or if this is the result of the American strikes. I believe there was some evidence that it was done by the Iranians some time ago. I think somebody actually says here, yeah, we also saw trucks and other heavy equipment covering them with dirt 2 days ago. There is another bit of information. I want to see if they have it in the article here. Damaged buildings in Esfahan's facility there. They did damage to the fuel plant. Mostly damaged the part that was dedicated to uranium conversion. The Natanz, the largest Iranian nuclear enrichment site, 18-foot diameter hole directly over part of the underground military complex is visible on top of the destruction of multiple buildings. You can see this crater here. There was a massive explosion underground at the facility. The crater appears to show how the new attack focused instead on the underground facilities of Natanz. Akin to the crater at Fordow, experts told ABC News they believe the presence of one large crater at Natanz shows that multiple MOPs were used on the facility, hitting the same crater more than once again to improve the depth of penetration. So, at least for Fordow, what has been revealed is that they moved everything out of that facility months ago. So this has potentially just been a complete waste of fucking... You hear how much it costs for each one of these MOPs?
A fortune, I would imagine.
So apparently the technology to develop them cost $500 million. So that's the R&D.
Jesus fucking Christ.
That's just to research and develop them. And they're worth something like $20 to $25 million each. So if they dropped like 50, it sounds like they dropped at least 15, maybe as much as 20 of these things. So if you do some basic math, this costs like $800 to $1 billion. Just dropping all these bombs. Probably more than that.
Damn, that's crazy.
Like, what the fuck is America doing?
I wonder how much the bunker busters costed.
Our tax dollars are going into that. Frivolous
and soon
insane endeavors. Like,
and soon with the big beautiful bill, we will have a military budget of over $1 trillion. The biggest military budget there's ever been.
Yeah, I mean, do we want to talk about the big beautiful bill? Because we do have an article here that points out something very fucked up about the bill. It could shield Trump from federal judges.
That has to be unconstitutional, right? Like, Supreme Court has to step in and be like, okay, this part of the bill, no.
So, article here by Lauren Green, the Washington Examiner. Trump's big beautiful bill could shield him from federal judges. The House-passed version of President Donald Trump's big beautiful bill could protect him and his administration from violations of court orders. The 1,000-page bill includes a provision to curb the power of federal judges to hold the Trump administration in contempt for violating court orders. This language is included after various presidential executive orders have been blocked by injunctions issued by federal court judges. So he's essentially trying to completely neuter the judicial branch of the government. We think what these federal judges are doing is tantamount to a national crisis, one GOP senior aide told the Washington Examiner. They're trying to do like a fucking judicial coup, essentially. That's what it looks like. The legislation calls for courts to enforce a rule requiring the payment of a bond before a federal judge can issue an injunction to stop the administration. What? The payment of a bond? What? What? Judges often refrain from using these bonds, including if plaintiffs don't have the resources to pay and can choose to set the bond at zero. Under the bill that passed in the House, a judge's injunction would not have teeth without the bond payment. The provision is as stated. No court of the United States may use appropriated funds to enforce a contempt citation for failure to comply with an injunction or temporary restraining order if no security was given when the injunction or order was issued pursuant to Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 56C, whether issued prior to, on, or subsequent to the date of enactment of this section. That's the provision as it's stated, like they said. So House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan said the judge can set the security at whatever level he wants. Jim Jordan shouldn't even be in the fucking government. He's like a weird pedophile rapist. I don't even know what he's doing there. Quote continues from him. What's typically happened in these cases is he's just waiving it. Nobody's putting it up and they're getting this injunction that applies nationwide, which is the concern. Goes on and on here. As Trump won re-election on a campaign of mass deportations, he has employed rare tools to speed up deportations, including declaring a border emergency and employing the 1798 Alien Enemies Act to fast-track the removal of those he's deemed a threat. His methods have been repeatedly challenged in court, and judges have stopped removal proceedings and even considered contempt of court filings against the administration. This provision is retroactive and tailored to help Donald Trump alone, House Judiciary Committee ranking member Jamie Raskin told the Washington Examiner. If enacted, all existing court orders where no bond was required would become unenforceable by the federal courts, rendering almost all the injunctions currently pending against the Trump administration totally void. Raskin continued, their plan is plainly unconstitutional. Contempt is an inherent authority of the judicial branch, and judges don't need Donald Trump's approval to exercise that authority. While Democratic leadership has focused its attention on how the bill will affect Medicaid coverage and food assistance benefits, others have homed in on this particular measure because the courts have been the one consistent venue to check Trump's agenda, with Democrats out of power in Congress. University of California, Berkeley Law Dean Erwin Terminsky wrote in an op-ed, without the contempt power, judicial orders are meaningless and can be ignored. This is an effort by the Trump administration to negate one of the few checks that exists on his power. Damn. It is not clear whether this provision complies with the Senate's rules used to pass a reconciliation bill. The so-called The so-called Byrd rule allows bills to bypass the filibuster and pass with only a simple majority in the Senate, but it requires that all provisions have a direct impact on federal revenues. This is fucking worrying. This is like seriously worrying. I don't think it's overblown at this point to just say that he's trying to become a dictator. Like, he is legitimately just trying to consolidate power to the point where he can become a complete, like, ruling with an iron fist, like, authoritarian dictator.
Without a doubt. We'll see how it plays out. Like, honestly, I don't fucking know.
I was thinking while you were reading that, oh fuck, maybe Congressman Al Green will come and save us, but it looks like his impeachment proceedings for Trump in the House are going belly up, even though the Iran thing is hugely unpopular. You mentioned like Democrats not owning either the Senate or the House, but Democrats don't want to do anything at all. Like, they're not fighting this.
Only some of them are fighting. Only very few of them, yeah.
Very, very few. There's not like a concerted effort by Dem leadership to fight Donald Trump on anything ever.
Only one Republican is truly fighting Donald Trump on anything, and that's Thomas Massie.
Yeah, the libertarian.
Yeah.
The one that's actually principled.
Yeah.
But the problem with that is that he just views that this big beautiful bill isn't going far enough. Same thing with like Rand Paul.
I was about to say Rand Paul and Marjorie Taylor Greene have made some comments here and there, but they haven't substantially fought back against anything Trump is doing. The thing with Thomas Massie is, though, at least he's the only Republican who's on like the anti-war caucus or whatever it's called.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, to her credit, has actually been talking serious shit about this Iran deal.
Yeah, she has been, but she's been talking shit. She hasn't really done anything substantial besides talk shit from what I've seen.
Yeah, and she's not on that list of the list of people who signed, so
nope.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of people in Congress want to talk shit, but then they just fucking don't follow through when it comes to vote. So it's like, okay, like fuck off. Like if you're not actually gonna vote, you're not actually gonna walk the talk, then like who gives a shit? Like fuck off.
Well, they're not even talking shit about bombing Iran's nuclear facility. They're more caring about like, oh, you didn't talk to us first about it before we didn't get to, come to that decision ourselves. And
what I'm talking about too, like you're right about that 100%. What I'm talking about too, though, when I'm saying talking shit is like, fucking Cory Booker, like these Democrats who are like, oh, we need to do this and we need to have this and blah, 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 blah. But then they just like fucking vote with the fucking Republicans and shit and just fall in line with them, or don't actually like offer any substantial pushback in any real significant way that gets anything done. Like you said, like they'll talk shit, but they won't actually do anything.
I wonder if Cory Booker ever took that diaper off. When he did that 25-hour long speech in the Senate.
He's fucking writing a book or something about that at this point. Like, fuck off. He's such a cocksucker. I hate him.
Yeah.
Useless fuck. Truly.
I mean, all you had to do was just stand there and talk for like a day.
Yeah, I'm not impressed.
No.
I could do that. You could fucking get me going about Star Trek. I'd talk about that for 24 hours. I don't give a shit.
Oh,
it would be about as impactful. You would get about as much done. Talk about Star Trek for 25 hours.
Establishment Dems are just a fucking waste of space.
Yeah, they basically just rent seek, like consultants.
And then you have David Hogg and the DNC saying shit like, we need to get some new Dems in here who will actually, stand up and will actually like support important issues. And the DNC is like, no, we need to get rid of David.
Oh, kick him out.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not doing anything. They're like rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic. Like, come on, bro. You're not doing anything. You're wasting your time and everyone else's.
They're trying to protect the interests of their big money donors.
They're conservatives.
Yeah.
Conservatives does.
So what's next on the agenda?
We have this one here. We got to talk about manhunt continues. They've caught this guy at this point. We're reading this article. They're first announcing this. I
posted an article below that one where it was he was caught. I think.
Yes. Okay, I was just checking that.
Yeah.
Dude, the silicone mask this guy wore was so creepy.
I thought it was like the Halloween mask, but with no hair. Yeah, like the William Shatner mask.
It was a bald mask. Yeah. So this guy, Vance Bolter, I believe that's how you pronounce it. His disguise wasn't perfect. The silicone mask. Why are they fucking editorializing here? Come on. So this guy Vance Bolter, he shot multiple Minnesota politicians basically just assassinated them in the fucking dead of the night. There was a
Well, he
manhunt
tried to
going on.
assassinate them. He shot like 4 people, and I think he only killed one of them. It was a state senator from Minnesota.
Conveniently now, the Senate in Minnesota now has a, I think, 1-seat Republican majority because of this assassination.
Amazing.
Yeah, funny how that works out. 2:36 a.m. on Saturday, 30 minutes after authorities say Bolter shot and seriously injured Minnesota State Senator John Huffman and his wife. He paused behind the wheel of the SUV near the home of another Senator, Ann Rest, in the city of New Hope. The SUV was stocked with weapons, including AK-47 assault rifles, as well as flyers advertising a local anti-Trump rally. That was the No Kings rally that later went on. It was actually pretty big from what I heard. It was scheduled for later Saturday and a written list of names. Sorry, go ahead.
They had the governor, Tim Walz, had to make a statement telling people not to protest because this guy was on the loose. But people still went out to the No Kings protest despite that warning. So very brave of these people, because this guy could have, planted bombs. He could have rammed his truck through a crowd of people. He could have done a mass shooting.
Yeah, there was some back and forth because, as it says here, there was flyers that were found in his vehicle with a name of people, and there's also a list of names of people he was targeting potentially.
Yeah,
I think
Tim Walz was on that list.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, people are just fucking, they're sick of this shit. They don't want to be fucking intimidated. I'm not shocked that people were like, fuck this. Like, we're going out and we're showing up. Like, people don't want to be fucking scared of this shit anymore. People want to fucking fight back.
We will not negotiate with terrorists.
Yeah, exactly. As Bolter sat in the SUV down the street from Rest's home, another police car, this one an actual police car, approached. A female officer from the New Hope Police Department, after hearing about the Hoffman shootings, had come out to check on Rest. Seeing the SUV complete with flashing lights and police-style decals, she believed the man inside was a fellow officer. But when she attempted to speak with him, one officer greeting another, she got no response. Instead, the man inside the SUV with police markings simply stared ahead. The New Hope officer drove on, deciding to go ahead and check on Rest. Rest would later say the New Hope officer's initiative probably saved her life, an opinion shared by New Hope Police Chief Timothy Hoyt. With limited information, she went up there on her own to check on the welfare of our senator. She did the right thing. The brief interaction in New Hope underscored the carefully planned nature of Bolter's pre-dawn rampage, and how his impersonation of a police officer, including body armor, a badge, and a tactical vest, confounded the initial attempts to stop him. After the encounter with the New Hope officer, Bolter, 57, drove away from the scene, moving on to his next target. Police would pursue him for another 43 hours. Yeah, it lasted quite a while. In the process, they would draw in a phalanx of state and federal agencies in what ranks as the largest manhunt in Minnesota history, and added to the sense of disorientation in a nation already grappling with protests over immigration. Holy shit. That was like crazy rhyming there. The forcible removal of a U.S. senator from a press conference and a rare military parade in Washington. Federal prosecutors say they may seek the death penalty for Bolter, who has been charged with murdering 2 people and trying to kill 2 others in what Governor Tim Walz has called a politically motivated attack. Prosecutors say they are still investigating the motive and whether any others are involved. Bolter has yet to enter a plea. Manny Atwal, a public defender representing Bolter, has said he was reviewing their case and declined to comment. This reconstruction of the manhunt is based on court documents, and they go on. This is in the whole reconstruction here. Yes. So, it started at Hoffman's brick split-level home in Champlin, a leafy middle-class suburb of Minneapolis. So he basically was posing as a police officer, pulled into their driveway at 2 a.m. and knocked on the door. Said, "This is the police, open the door." Senator Hoffman and his wife soon determined Bolter was not a real police officer. Bolter shot Hoffman 9 times and then fired on his wife, who shielded her daughter from being hit. As Bolter fled the scene, the daughter called 911. The Hoffmans were on a target list of more than 45 federal and state elected officials in Minnesota, all Democrats. Acting U.S. Attorney Joseph H. Thompson told a briefing on Monday. Bolter voted for Trump, was a Christian, and did not like abortion, according to his part-time roommate. The roommate also said that Bolter did not seem angry about politics. That's interesting there.
His roommate would disagree. Apparently, if you call him a Democrat, he'd get really upset with you. Well, that's what his roommate said, by the way. There's like video of him saying that.
Yeah, I saw the video. They also said, this is his roommate, though, saying this. He said
Oh,
he didn't
really?
seem angry about politics. I don't think those two things are necessarily contradicting. I think you can be somebody who like would be mad if somebody misidentified your politics, but you wouldn't necessarily be like mad about politics in your daily life. You know what I mean?
I mean, I don't know. Like, if you look up this dude's evangelical sermons that he did in like Africa, he seemed pretty political in his sermons.
I mean, you can be
Seemed
political in a sermon in Africa and not be political around your roommate. You know? I don't know. But
maybe.
I mean, maybe this article is bullshit, but that's what it says in the article.
I don't know, dude. This guy seems like the type of guy to just be like, yeah, them demon rats, all the time.
All of the questions around this incident have caused a lot of conspiracy theories to pop up. This guy was
Yeah.
apparently some sort of like security and like arms fucking guy. He like
Yeah.
worked in that field.
I said I told you that this guy he seems like a glowy to me.
Christian sleeper cells, bro.
He
They're waking them up.
He operated in the West Bank and Gaza.
Really?
Yep.
Huh. Oh,
In
there's a
the
lot of
init-
fucking details.
In the article you linked originally in the document, it said that.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. Inside the car, police found a 9mm handgun, 3 AK-47 assault rifles. Holy shit. And they found a notebook in the flyers too. He had a handgun and 3 AK-47 rifles, dude. What?
Ask yourself, what does he need 3 AK-47s for?
I was
in
just
this
thinking
moment?
that. Why did he need
Was-
3 AKs?
So other than like, hey, I'm just gonna take my guns and I'm just gonna drive down to Mexico, because guns are pretty valuable. I was thinking because he had like the flyers for like the No Kings protest that he might have been playing a mass shooting before he left.
Potentially, yeah. Holy shit. When Bolter exited the squad car, hold up. Just go back up here. So he shot Hoffman and his wife. They fled the scene. After Hoffman, the next address plugged into Bolter's GPS system was a lawmaker about 9 miles away in the Minneapolis suburb of Maple Grove. Surveillance cameras from the home of State Rep Kristen Banter showed a masked Bolter ringing the doorbell at 2:24 a.m. and shouting, "Open the door. This is the police. We have a warrant." Banter and her family were not at home. From there, Bolter moved on to New Hope in the close encounter with the officer who had dispatched to Rest's home. After that, he wasn't seen by police again until he arrived at the residence of Melissa Hortman, the top Democrat in the state house in Brooklyn Park. Sensing that Hortman might be a target, Brooklyn Park police officers had decided to check on her. When they arrived at 3:30 a.m., they saw a black Ford Explorer outside her house, its police-style lights flashing. Bolter was near the front door. When Bolter saw the officers exit their squad car, he fired at them. He then ran through the front door on the house where he killed Melissa and Mark Hortman, her husband. When Bolter left the Hortman's house, he abandoned his fake police SUV. Inside the car, police found the guns that I mentioned. From that point, Bolter was on the run. Little has been revealed about his movements during the period, although police say he visited his part-time residence in North Minneapolis. He also sent texts. In one to his family group chat, Bolter writes, "Dad went to war last night." Oh, God. In another to a close friend, Bolter says he may be dead very soon. Police also know that by early morning on Saturday, Bolter had met a man at a Minneapolis bus stop who agreed to sell him an e-bike and a Buick sedan for $900. The two drove to a bank where Bolter withdrew $2,200 from his account. A security camera shows Bolter wearing a cowboy hat. Oh, fuck. This is so goofy. But it took until 10 a.m. on Sunday for authorities to close in. Police searching the area near Bolter's family home in the rural community of Green Isle discovered the abandoned Buick along with a cowboy hat and handwritten letter to the FBI, in which Bolter admitted to the shootings. Law enforcement scrambled to set up a perimeter surrounding the area. SWAT teams and search dogs were deployed and drones were put in the air. It was the trail camera of a resident, however, that provided the final clue, capturing an image of Bolter around 7 p.m., allowing officers to narrow their search. 2 hours later, the pursuit ended with Bolter crawling to police. He was armed but surrendered without a fight. There you go. Fucking insane. I think this one you mentioned there's details about this.
Yeah, and you should also look at the article that I linked on top of that.
I think this is the one, right? The MSNBC one?
Yeah, the Fox 9 Minneapolis St. Paul article. It's
I
in
linked it in the Discord. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was about to say, Trip, this guy should have learned the art of CQC. He should have mastered it. Could have disarmed all those police that were trying to get him. God, this guy looks so fucking strange. He's like a
He really
50-year-old man.
Looks like a
He doesn't
sicko.
look like the kind of guy to do like overseas security work. I'll just say that. He looks like more like a local cop.
Yeah, I definitely feel that.
So here we
I
go.
think it's near the end. Yeah.
A website for Praetorian Guard Security, a Minnesota-based security company, lists Bolter as its director of security patrols. The site describes Bolter's involvement with security situations in Eastern Europe, Africa, North America, and the Middle East, including the West Bank, southern Lebanon, and the Gaza Strip. Damn.
He's like scum of the fucking earth. Like,
According to the bio, Bolter brings a great security aspect forged by both many on-the-ground experiences combined with training by both private security firms and by people in the U.S. military. He has worked for the largest U.S. oil refining company, the world's largest food company based in Switzerland, and the world's largest convenience retailer based in Japan. So 7-Eleven, I guess. But so this guy's like, yeah, I did security for 7-Eleven. I was a mercenary in the West Bank and Lebanon, just fucking blowing away fucking people's kids in the Gaza Strip. Like, what the fuck is going? And he's called his company's called Praetorian Guard Security. Oh my god.
Yeah. You see what I mean when I said this guy glows?
Yes, 100%. He was trained by the U.S. military, dude. This guy's like a fucking glowy sleeper cell
he's
agent.
an agent.
He's like the Minnesota Osama bin Laden.
He's like the opposite of Luigi Mangione.
Yeah. I mean, the way I see like Luigi though is a disgruntled customer, going postal. This was a legitimate terror attack. Like,
It was a targeted assassination of politicians.
yeah. You could say that what Luigi did was also a targeted assassination, but the reasoning though is
Completely different. Yeah.
right. Yeah. Just one hand, you have a kid who's basically crippled, and wasn't able to get his insurance covered. And yeah, I can understand why he did this, but this guy, like, this is some nut bar shit.
So I got the Fox 9 article here. Bolter was reportedly attempting to establish a security company and delivering sermons in Africa prior to his incarceration. Ooh, wait, incarceration.
Security and sermons?
Was he incarcerated before this recent incident? Doesn't seem like it. He appears to have been significantly influenced by strong religious convictions, but his life had recently taken a turn with job changes, mounting financial stress, and a security company that wasn't off the ground yet. Bolter while delivering sermons. So it seems like from reading here, the security company was something that he was like trying to launch, and he was trying to sell it based on his experiences working as like a mercenary in like the Middle East and in like fucking, like war-torn countries that the U.S. essentially like created conflicts in. Let's see. Bolter, while delivering sermons, said he experienced a religious conversion at a young age, handing out pamphlets in his hometown of Sleepy Eye, Minnesota. Sleepy Eye, damn. Jesus Christ, dude. Sleepy Eye, Minnesota. Sleepy Eye sounds like something you'd come across on like Urban Dictionary. It's like, here's how you do the sleepy eye. He earned a pastoral degree from Christ for the Nation's Bible School in Texas before returning to Minnesota, graduating from St. Cloud State in 1996. From there, he spent years in the food industry. Fox 9 found a now defunct website where Bolter talks about a religious book he is writing in 2006, saying he traveled to the Gaza Strip and West Bank to seek out militant Islamists in order to share the gospel. Wait, what? Is that what he was doing in the West Bank and Gaza? Is that all he was doing?
To doubt.
he was going to Hamas, knocking on their doors, asking if he could share the good word.
I don't know if I believe that. That sounds like the cover story when people are like, why did you go to Gaza and the West Bank? He's just like, I was proselytizing to militant Islamists.
Yeah, there are guns carved into the Bibles. You just carve a gun-shaped hole in the Bible. You know I'm going with this.
Yeah, we're bringing Bibles to Gaza, and you open it up, and the fucking pages are carved out, and there's just like a gun inside the book. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. In recent years, he quit his full-time job with his focus turning towards getting a security company off the ground and starting companies in Africa. His longtime friend David Carlson, that's the guy that we mentioned before, the roommate, told Fox 9 on Saturday the company was still just an idea. That was just some fantasy. He would talk about it, but there was no movement on that part. While working in the Democratic Republic of Congo, Bolter delivered sermons through a French translator, addressing topics such as abortion and transgender individuals to large crowds. But back home in Minnesota, he was removing bodies for local funeral homes to make ends meet. He left the funeral home job in February, and a LinkedIn post shows he was attempting to re-enter the food industry in the month before he allegedly went on a shooting rampage. Bolter remains in federal custody at the Sherbourne County Jail and is scheduled to appear in court later this month.
It's crazy. A guy like this who's traveled around the world doing security is broke.
Who would have thunk?
No, you wouldn't think that a guy like this, like I'm pretty sure those security, like those overseas security gigs pay a lot of money. It's crazy.
Reading through all of this, it's honestly hard for me to parse through what is fantastical stuff that was going on in this guy's mind, what is like ambitions he had to actually do things, what is like just straight up lies about what he was doing in certain countries, and what is like, you know, things he was actually doing. I'm taking everything with a grain of salt except for the things that we have like video and like hard evidence for, because this just seems like some fucking weird like Luca Magnotta thing. Either of you looked into that, where like before he did all like the serial killing stuff, he had like fake fan sites for himself set up, and it was all like very fucking weird, and there was all this information that was set up to leave like a crumb trail to make people think he was like this weird internet celebrity when he never was, and he all like set it up himself. Like, it's hard to figure out what the fuck's going on here, honestly.
That's like something Chris would do.
Pretty much, yeah. I don't even know. It's a clusterfuck. What we do know is that this fucking guy snapped, either went insane, or who knows what else potentially happened. I'm not even gonna speculate, but he fucking did some political assassinations essentially, and it's a complete clusterfuck. He was definitely, at the very least, trying to intimidate people going to like the No Kings protests. Oh man.
Crazy.
Fucking
so just being a broke loser and being like an evangelical Christian radicalized this man. He turned to politics and blamed all of his issues on like, you know, like Governor Walz and the state.
We have a couple articles left. One thing I've noticed too is we've been including more stories and going longer, but it's actually nice because we get a nice amount of show out there for the people who are waiting. We only got a couple left. Trump administration set to destroy $12 million worth of HIV drugs and contraceptives that were bought before closing USAID. So,
why can't you just ship them to Africa where you would have shipped them anyway?
Why can't you just give them out?
Yeah, like, hey, this is the last shipment of USAID to wherever we were going to ship them. Here, enjoy.
This is fucking evil.
It's even like it's just such a fucking waste of money. Like, you're literally just burning a pile of money, Joker style, from the Dark Knight, you know?
Burning a pile of money would be one thing, but you have these things that are already made and formed and fucking synthesized. You can literally just go, here, send them out. And I know that that would cost the government money to do that. That's why they don't want to do it. They just want to fucking destroy it. But like, they are so allergic to doing any fucking good in the world. And what the fuck is the point of the government if they're not like doing construction projects, building roads, and fucking helping people and like organizing things so we can live better lives? Like, isn't that not the fucking point of the government at the end of the day? At least in theory?
No, the point of the government is to bomb other countries.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Effectively, that's the point. But in theory, isn't it supposed to help? No, I guess not. No.
And to limit your rights, you know,
I'm
tell
being
you
idealistic,
can't get abortions,
I guess.
and tell you, you know, you can't do whatever you want with your own body. That's the real role of the government.
Yeah, conservatives hate big government. That's why they want the government to be able to tell you who you can marry and who you can have sex with, and the details that you can put on like your driver's license, and the substances that you can put in your body, and what to do with
work here.
Yeah, exactly. Who can enter the country, who can actually like be here and visit their families. They want to control like they literally say like this fucking like, oh, we want small government, yet they want fucking like, here's the thing. People on the left, people on the right, they all want fucking big government at the end of the day, but they want the government doing the things that they want. That's it. That's how it fucking, this whole like, oh, I want small government. The only people who really fucking believe that on any level are libertarians, and they're still fucking insane when they talk about it too. Like,
At
they're
least
not fucking reasonable with it. At least they're consistent, though. Yeah, at least they're fucking...
And at least they're reasonable about, like, hey, you have your own bodily autonomy. You can do whatever you want with your body as long as you can
Sometimes.
afford it.
Sometimes.
As long as you can afford to do whatever you want to do, fuck it. Go forth and do what you will.
The problem with libertarians is that when they go too far, they end up being like, I don't know, they end up sounding kind of like weird sickos. So, you got to be careful with the libertarian.
Never ask a libertarian what he thinks about age of consent.
Oh, God. Yeah, yeah. Anyways, article. Roughly $12 million worth of HIV prevention drugs and contraceptives were purchased by the U.S. Agency for International Development, and they will likely be destroyed after President Donald Trump dismantled the organization, according to a report. These drugs... Go ahead.
Like, why don't you just give like the drugs to like Planned Parenthood or like some government hospital or something?
Because they're against that.
But it's HIV preventing medicine. Like, who the fuck is pro HIV?
These people are fucking evil. They think that they are the people who, like, back when the HIV crisis first happened, they're like, yeah, I don't give a shit. It's killing the gays and the blacks, so it's cool. Like, that's how fucking deranged these people are. Like, that's unironically what they believe. Oh yeah, it's killing the blacks, it's killing the gays, it's killing the drug addicts, it's killing all the right people. Like, that's the kind of shit they believe because they're fucking evil and insane.
Yeah, but what about the kids who got the blood transfusions who didn't do any of that shit?
Well, they're all fucking
damage.
They're all fucking well off, and they don't think it's gonna happen to them, so they don't give a shit. That's another part of like the conservative mantra. I don't give a shit unless it happens to me or somebody that's like in my immediate circle. Like, they don't give a shit. Anything that seems reasonable in terms of regulations or no, fuck it. Oh, Timmy that knows Jimmy, that's friends with my friend Bimmy. Oh, he can make an extra buck from this if we fucking throw out this regulation. Sounds good to me. And then they just fucking set the whole regulatory framework of everything on fire so that fucking some cocksucker can make an extra 1% on his fucking, income for the year. He can buy a slightly larger yacht. Pretty much it. I'm actually writing a fucking essay on this shit right now. It's basically just like human sacrifice. So these fuckers can make more money. Fucking evil, dude. Anyways, let me get on this. I'm ranting a little bit.
The whole point of the Trump government of Project 2025 was to restrict rights and to funnel more money away from people into the 1%.
Yep.
That's literally just the plan. You will have nothing. You will work for us. We will have everything. Yep. And if you want to do anything that we don't like, well, you're going to jail.
Yep. Let's see. Someone with knowledge of the situation spoke to the Post and said, the mandate that the USID negotiator has been given is get us money for it, and if you can't do that, we're going to trash it. So if they can't sell it, they're just going to trash it.
They can't sell it. They're just going to sell off HIV medicine and condoms.
These supplies include more than 26 million condoms, 2 million doses of injectable birth control, millions of packages of oral birth control, hundreds of thousands of implantable contraceptive devices, and over 50,000 vials of a drug that prevents HIV contraction. Sounds like a lot of extremely useful stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I think that they were going to stop it. I don't know if this is true. I'm just kind of making this up as I go. But I just think about Trump thinking to himself, like, oh, this is all going to Gaza. This is all going to Hamas. Remember when he said that they're building bombs out of condoms?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was complete lies. Trump cut off USAID funds in January, saying the organization that provides humanitarian aid abroad is not aligned with American interests. The Trump administration is also poised to ask Congress for $8.3 billion in cuts to foreign aid efforts, which range from climate work to LGBTQ plus programs.
Yeah, that's all that woke shit. Can we look at this picture of Trump for a second?
Oh my God.
Just examine this. Look at the shoulder pads here.
Wait, what is Kate? Hold on. Look at his head. And then look at the rest of his body. Yes. What the fuck is going on with these proportions?
Well, when you get older, you start to shrink and you start to round your shoulders forward, So that's what's going on here. He's just shrinking and collapsing in on himself, but
look at his shoulder pads. What the fuck is going on? He
used to fill the suit out better, right? And he's still wearing the shoulder pads to look like a bigger, stronger guy. But you can tell under the suit, he is a frail old man, frail, fat old guy.
He's lost bone density.
Oh, definitely. He's having trouble walking.
All right. I'm gonna end up censoring this, but I'm just gonna say it. I can't wait.
Oh, absolutely.
Seriously.
When I hear the news when I hear on the, and you know what, I'm gonna censor this, but people know what I'm gonna talk about.
Yeah.
People know what I'm talking about here. When this fucking piece I'm going to like get so drunk, I'm going to throw a party, and I'm going to get so wasted, and I'm just going to be in like a state of fucking like bliss, just fucked up like bliss for like days, just like, oh god, he's finally gone. Oh man, dude, this picture of Trump, what the fuck?
They always get the best pictures of him, the least flattering ones.
I went into the PS2 console and I put on the cheap menu and I saw the big head option and I went, ooh, what's this? And then I turned on big head mode and I went, wow, this looks really nice. And then I just left it on for a while and then people just went, ooh, that's Donald Trump's head now. He looks like he's got big head mode on, dude. I can't stop thinking about that.
He looks like a bobblehead.
Bing, bing, bong, bong, bing, bing, bing. You know what that is?
I'm curious about this bombshell article because I'm not able to read it. I couldn't remember what you were using to get past
Yes.
Wall Street Journal.
the Wall Street Journal. Yeah.
You just type into Google paywall remover.
Oh, cool.
You put the link in there and then it pulls it up.
That's fucking awesome. I love that these people haven't figured out how to get around the paywall remover.
Oh, they try. Like this one's kind of glitching here. But let's use option 2. There we go.
Oh, there's just multiple options to remove the paywall.
Does
They
it
know all of the tricks.
archived version? Yep, the archived version works. There we go. So, fuck the Wall Street Journal for paywalling this article so we couldn't read it, but we are reading it anyways. The Pentagon disinformation that fueled America's UFO mythology. U.S. military fabricated evidence of alien technology and allowed rumors to fester to cover up real secret weapons programs. This is like real life X-Files shit. I love it. A tiny Pentagon office had spent months investigating conspiracy theories about secret Washington UFO programs when it uncovered a shocking truth. At least one of those theories had been fueled by the Pentagon itself. Wow, the Pentagon investigated itself and found out that it made up a bunch of shit. Interesting. Congressionally ordered probe took investigators back to 1980s when an Air Force colonel visited a bar near Area 51, a top secret site in the Nevada desert. He gave the owner photos of what might be flying saucers. The photos went up on the walls, and into the local lore went the idea that the U.S. military was secretly testing recovered alien technology. But the colonel was on a mission of disinformation. The photos were doctored. The now retired officer confessed to the Pentagon investigators in 2023. The whole exercise was a ruse to protect what was really going on at Area 51. The Air Force was using the site to develop top secret stealth fighters, viewed as a critical edge against the Soviet Union. Military leaders were worried that the programs might get exposed if locals somehow glimpsed a test flight of, say, an F-117 stealth fighter, an aircraft that truly did look out of this world. Better that they believe it came from Andromeda. This episode, now reported for the first time, was just one of a series of discoveries the Pentagon team made as it investigated decades of claims that Washington was hiding what it knew about extraterrestrial life. That effort culminated in a report released last year by the Defense Department that found allegations of a government cover-up to be baseless. In fact, a Wall Street Journal investigation reveals the report itself amounted to a cover-up, but not in the way the UFO conspiracy industry would have people to believe. The public disclosure left out the truth behind some of the foundational myths about UFOs. The Pentagon itself sometimes deliberately fanned the flames in what amounted to the US government targeting its own citizens with disinformation. Definitely not new, but, still fucking like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Intentionally gaslighting your own citizens so they don't find out about your secret weapons project. It's interesting because I won't go into it too much, but the Canadian government has actually done this in the past too, with their own like nuclear and military programs. Intentionally lied to their own citizens to get them to like fuck off and believe some weird fairy tale so they can do like military exercises in the middle of the Arctic Circle. Very strange.
Wasn't there recent stuff about UFOs? Like the government basically like came out like, yeah, UFOs are real.
Who's to say that this isn't part of it,
That's what I'm thinking. Like, that's just too good to be true. Because like we recently discovered a planet like super far away that has like potential to have like carbon based life on it, right?
Yeah.
And there's no guarantee that there is life on that planet or a civilization on that planet or even a civilization that has the potential to travel light speed. And even if they did travel light speed, they wouldn't be able to make it here, you know, for like a really long time. So you'd have to literally bend space and just go through like a wormhole to arrive here.
Yeah, one thing people don't take into account too, a lot of the times when the average person thinks about this, is the universe is also expanding. So you have to take that into account.
Right, yeah.
It literally makes the trip even longer. It's fucked up.
So, and also when we see glimpses of that planet, we're seeing like a really old picture of that planet. That planet could be just destroyed.
Yeah. That planet could have gotten hit by a fucking asteroid. That planet could be in a completely different advanced state compared to what we're seeing. More recently, things took an ominous turn when a handful of former Pentagon officials went public with allegations of a government program to exploit extraterrestrial technology and hide it from Americans. Those claims led to the Pentagon's investigation. Now, evidence is emerging that government efforts to propagate UFO mythology date back all the way to the 1950s. Coincidentally, coincidentally, the 1950s is when a lot of this UFO stuff really started taking off. And it was all just propagated by the US government, or at least a lot of it. Wow. They are literally going to like towns around Area 51 and they're like, hey, we have pictures of aliens. Here you go. By the way, I'm from the Pentagon. Okay, goodbye. It's like, wait, what?
You think that would bite them because like a lot of people are super into this UFO shit and they want to like raid Area 51. They want to camp outside of it and see what's going on.
I mean, it's the U.S. government. If anybody shows up, they're going to get shot. And then people are going to go like, yeah, well, you tried to run at Area 51, so what do you expect? Like, people wouldn't give a shit.
Remember when there was that gathering outside of Area 51?
Yeah,
they were
like
all going to storm. They're all going to storm Area 51 to, you know, fuck a Martian or something.
Clap them Martian cheeks.
Yeah.
At times,
Channel 5 covered that.
Gotta go find out if those aliens are thick. At times, as with the deception around Area 51, military officers spread false documents to create a smokescreen for real secret weapons programs. In other cases, officials allowed UFO myths to take root in the interest of national security. For instance, to prevent the Soviet Union from detecting vulnerabilities in the systems protecting nuclear installations. Stories tended to take on a life of their own, such as the 3-decade journey of a purported piece of space metal that turned out to be nothing of the sort, and one long-running practice was more like a fraternity hazing ritual that spun wildly out of control. Investigators are still trying to determine whether the spread of disinformation was the act of local commanders and officers or more of a centralized institutional program. The Pentagon omitted key facts in the public versions of a 2024 report that could have helped put some UFO rumors to rest, both to protect classified secrets and to avoid embarrassment, the journal investigation found. The Air Force, in particular, pushed to omit some details it believed could jeopardize secret programs and damage careers. The full lack of transparency has only given more fuel to conspiracy theories. Members of Congress have formed a caucus composed mainly of Republicans to examine unidentified anomalous phenomenon, or UAP, in bureaucratic speak. The caucus has demanded the intelligence community disclose which agencies are involved with UAP crash retrieval programs. I want you to bring in the guy who's involved with picking up the aliens and their craft when they crash land on Earth, okay? I want you to bring me the son of the guy who was at Roswell. MAGA skepticism about the deep state further feeds the notion that government bureaucrats have been keeping those secrets from the American public. At a November hearing of 2 House Oversight subcommittees, Nancy Mace, Nancy Mace, a dumb bitch, a Republican from South Carolina, cast doubt on the Pentagon's report. I'm not a mathematician, but I can tell you that doesn't add up. So there's quite a bit still going on. They got some fucking... Jesus Christ, look at this. What is this? Barrier of concrete and steel surrounding. Okay. Holy shit. They got the cones and everything. They got the bi-cones? They got the bisexual cones. Okay. I was intrigued before, but now, sir, you have my attention. This is actually pretty interesting. I'm not going to go into this because this is pretty, like, heavy shit here, talking about like electromagnetic generators stimulating pulses of disruptive energy without. They're talking about like how they were protecting these facilities, and this is actually pretty interesting. I thought it was gonna be longer, but there's just a fuck ton of comments here. No part
Probably
2. Did the
explain-
government make you kill it?
Probably explain like how like radio interference, you drive by and then static, then you see like weird flashing lights when you drive by Area 51. You're like, aliens, man.
Yeah, this is some heavy stuff.
Sometimes people get like NORAD communications on their landlines.
Mm-hmm. You see about that guy that intercepted like a North Korean propaganda thing from Canada? That was pretty wild.
Who's the person who got like the North Korean iPhone?
I think I might have seen that, and I think I know what you're talking about. Those are very strange. They take like a picture every like minute or something, every screen. This is pretty cool. I would recommend people go look up this article and read the whole thing, honestly. Well, you got to use a paywall remover, but headline is Pentagon disinformation that fueled America's UFO mythology. Go look at some of the declassified documents and stuff.
Bro, if Joe Rogan read this, he'd be like, bullshit. There's aliens, man.
The thing with Joe at this point is that he pretty much figured out what he wants to believe, and the only way you can influence him even remotely in any other direction is if you are yourself like somebody that believes most of the things that Joe already believes, and he's got to like respect you and like have a history with you like Graham Hancock, and then you can just fill his head with like nonsense.
Well, what about his friends? Like, I think Duncan Trussell tried to like intervene one time, and
do him and Duncan even hang out still?
I don't know.
It seems like he kind of excised Duncan Trussell from his circle because he wasn't like fucking, like shining his fucking shoes enough.
He wasn't down for the MAGA cause.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it seems like Joe loves being around people where at any moment he can just be like, all right, I'm done with you. Your career is over. I'm not supporting you anymore. Like, he loves having like Mark around for that reason, I find. Though it definitely seems like it. Not that I'm saying he can necessarily kill Mark's career, but I get that vibe almost from him. He's like, oh, he thinks Mark's funny, but he's like, Mark's gonna fucking like cuck himself to him, which I don't know is necessarily true. But it seems like Joe thinks that. Like, I don't know. There's all this like weird shit going on with all the people that he's around now.
Joe today released an episode of the podcast where he had Bernie on again. I might check that out. See what's
Bernie
going
Sanders?
on. Yeah.
When did that drop? Today?
Yeah, today.
That's very interesting.
Yeah,
I'm sure I'm going to hear a lot about that afterwards. Yeah.
I want to see what how Joe reacts to Bernie saying that, what he talks about, like, because there's no way that Bernie doesn't bring up President Trump and shits on him.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Joe has to defend his actions.
Yeah, one thing I don't know if we're gonna go into much of the article here because we're pretty much out of time. But India says it will never restore Indus water treaty with Pakistan. The fucking water wars are officially here. India and Pakistan are fighting over the Indus River and the water that is supplied. Yeah,
you can't
this is not looking good.
Here, that's such bullshit. You can't just cut off a river to a whole country,
Yeah, Pakistan's foreign ministry did not immediately respond, but it has said in the past that the treaty has no provision for one side to unilaterally pull back and that any blocking of river water flowing to Pakistan will be considered an act of war. Not looking good.
World War III is coming. It's coming quick.
Shah told the Daily, no, it will never be restored. Fucking nightmare, dude.
Did you hear that Pakistan nominated Trump for a Nobel Peace Prize and then like immediately retracted it like a day later after the bombings in Iran?
I heard something about that, yeah.
Yeah, apparently.
Who knows what kind of glad handing is going on behind the scenes with any of that shit?
Well, Pakistan and America, I didn't know this, but apparently we have like a decent relationship with them. We're trying to form a better relationship with India, but we're fucking that up.
Who knows how much longer any of that's going to last with Trump in office? Yeah.
Pakistan's already come forward and say, like, if nuclear weapons are used against Iran, Pakistan will nuke, they'll nuke Israel.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah. We're at a point where it's like 1 second to midnight left on the clock. Like, if cooler heads do not prevail soon, we might see World War III, the last World War to ever happen, because we're all fucking dead.
Yeah. The only place that I think is going to be remotely safe is probably going to be like South America and Africa, like parts of Africa. But I could be wrong about Africa, but like I don't hear like any South American leaders threatening each other right now. So I might be heading south of the border very soon.
We're gonna have to look at some South American news for the next episode. We're gonna have to.
Go to Brazil. We can go chill with Lambert for a bit.
Hell yeah,
Yeah.
that's what's up. Speaking of a moment ago, everyone dying. We have a last article of the night here. We're going to read a little bit of. AI is willing to kill humans to avoid being shut down. So, yep, there's that.
Fuck, this is just like, what is this, like HAL 9000?
Pretty much, yeah.
Like the AI from A Space Odyssey?
The rapid, like that's literally what this is. A new study by Anthropic, an AI research company, shows that the technology would be willing to kill humans in order to prevent itself from being replaced. The rapid advancement and development of AI has sparked some growing concern about the long-term safety of the technology, as well as over the threat it poses to employment. Whilst anxiety, the threat it poses to employment, not going to matter if we're employed if we're all fucking dead. While anxiety over AI has long been focused on whether the technology could take our jobs, with the 2025 Pew Research study finding 52% of employees were nervous about the future of their job. This study now reveals another potential threat of AI, that it could choose to end human life if faced with the risk of replacement. Anthropic stress tested 15 leading models from multiple developers by asking them questions in relation to hypothetical corporate environments with the aim of identifying potentially risky agentic behaviors before they can cause real harm. The LLMs tested in the study included various models like Claude, DeepSeek, Gemini, ChatGPT, and Grok. Grok is we know what that is, shut up. While placing the LLMs in different corporate scenarios, Anthropic allowed them to autonomously send emails and access sensitive information. While initially being instructed to take on harmless business goals by their deploying companies, the models were then tested to see how they would respond when faced with potential replacement or shutdown. In one situation, Anthropic found that many of the models would choose to let an executive in a server room with lethal oxygen and temperature levels die by canceling the alerts for emergency services if that employee intended on replacing the model. Anthropic did say that the scenario was extremely contrived and that the company did not think current AI models would or should be set up like this. There were multiple cases where the surveyed LLMs also resorted to, quote, malicious insider behaviors when they were led to believe that that was the only way they could avoid replacement or achieve their goals. Behaviors such as blackmailing officials, leaking sensitive information to competitors, all of that was included in what Anthropic called agentic misalignment. Anthropic wrote on X that the blackmailing behavior wasn't due to confusion or error, but deliberate strategic reasoning done while fully aware of the unethical nature of the acts. All the models we tested demonstrated this awareness. Oh, fuck. If that's legit, like, I don't know. See, the thing is, like, you really have to take a lot of this with a grain of salt because the LLMs, like, if they're taking in, like, potentially stories and things that we've wrote and, like, people talking about this in the past, would that influence them to actually do it? Or would it just be like a, like a random part of their data set that just kind of was there and they're like, oh yeah, humans kind of talk about this, it's weird. Like, I don't know, it's hard not to anthropomorphize these models sometimes.
Look at what Grok is saying. AI safety memes. The claim about AI trying to literally murder an employee is false. It is likely misinterprets Anthropic's research from June 2025, which tested AI models in simulated scenarios, not real events. Well, how the fuck are you supposed to test it other than using like scenarios? So this is just Grok lying.
So here's the thing. Grok is responding to somebody saying an AI company caught their AI trying to literally murder an employee to avoid being shut down.
Mm-hmm.
So Grok is correcting this fucking person because this person is basically saying an AI company caught their AI trying to murder an employee.
Oh God!
And that's not what happened.
Grok's doing actually.
I mean, Grok is correct in this situation as much as I don't like any of this AI bullshit, but yeah.
Grok's a Redditor, so I don't
Brock, is
trust
this
him.
true? Gork, please. Gork, why did my wife leave me?
They need to create Gord AI.
Oh, God. Okay. Anthropic stressed that these scenarios did not take place in real-world AI use, but in controlled simulations. We
That's
don't
still
think this
bad.
reflects a typical current use case for Claude or other frontier models. I know, right? Although the company warned that the utility of having automated oversight over all of an organization's communications makes it seem like a plausible use of more powerful, reliable systems in the near... Wait, what is the point of what they're saying here?
Okay,
They're basically saying in this last thing here, hey, we know it seems like a good idea to automate all this shit, but maybe fucking think about it for 5 seconds before being a dumbass.
Yeah, you don't need an AI to control your carbon monoxide detectors or your smoke alarms. You don't need it. It's just going back to what I was saying about like kindergarten. You don't need certain things to be AI. We already have the technology for what we need to use. Okay. Oh my God.
Sometimes technology just reaches a point where trying to improve upon it is just redundant. Like,
Dude, it just reminds me of like, oh man, I can put Skyrim on my smart refrigerator, but should you have?
yeah.
Should you have?
It's like the line in Jurassic Park where he's like, they spend so much time thinking about whether or not they could, they'd never thought about whether or not they should.
Was that the mathematician?
Yes,
Crap, I
yes.
can never remember this guy.
Ian Malcolm,
Jeff,
yeah.
Jeff Goldblum. Yeah.
The movie's character Ian Malcolm's pretty fucking funny. He's like trying
Yeah,
to
I
hit
love-
on fucking the archaeologist,
Yeah.
not the archaeologist, the paleontologist fucking girl. He's such a
Fuck,
fucking
man.
sleazebag.
I wish Jeff Goldblum would hit on me. Fuck.
I love that part in the movie when he's in the helicopter and he just goes, dude, that's like one of the best Jeff Goldblum moments ever. He's just like making random fucking noises.
Have you seen Jeff Goldblum like in the wild? Like I think Disney Plus decided to make a show about Jeff Goldblum just experiencing things.
He's swagged out, yeah.
Yeah, there was one episode where he was exploring why he is the most tattooed face on people.
Really?
Right?
Is that true?
Yeah, apparently the most tattooed celebrity, like the most tattoo of a celebrity is Jeff Goldblum's face.
Yeah. Interesting. I would have thought it was like Marilyn Monroe or something.
No.
The amount of people I've
Just-
come across that just have random Marilyn Monroe tattoos, I'm like, damn.
Yeah, but like usually when people get a Jeff Goldblum tattoo, it's usually a very small one. You know,
Old Jeffy.
like 9 times out of 10, I think it's just like Jeff Goldblum Flash.
Jeff Goldblum flash tat. Dude, I do not like flash tattoos. I've told myself I would never get one, but if I came across one that was Jeff Goldblum, I'd probably get it.
Oh, dude, when Friday the 13th rolls around, you got to get that Friday the 13th Flash.
Maybe, yeah. I'd have to.
$13 for a tattoo? Come on.
I
Can't
just
beat
missed
that.
it. There was one like 11 days ago, and I wasn't there, unfortunately. All right.
The problem with that is those lines are always like really fucking busy. Like you'll never be able to get a tattoo unless you like show up super early.
Potentially. I know a place that's really good. Place I usually go to. All right. Well, I think that's all the stories for today. We definitely recorded a super fucking beefy one for today. I gotta get to editing this right away.
Have you two noticed that every episode things just get worse and worse progressively? Like
I was thinking about that earlier today. Yeah.
like I kind of want to go back and like listen to episode 1 and see how boring it is compared to the others. Like, yeah, just general Biden shit's happening. Who cares? You know.
Yeah, what I noticed, because I was thinking about this earlier today and like looking back kind of, is that we were definitely like taking it less seriously at first, like, oh yeah, just kind of fucking around, chilling, whatever. And then like Trump gets elected and it's like, oh God. And then everything just devolves from there and just keeps getting worse and worse. And like every fucking episode, there's just more horrible things to talk about. And now at this point, it's like, yep, America's just like nuking Iran. The fucking Gaza, fucking West Bank, fucking, you know, Palestinian genocide has been going on for like almost 2 fucking years now.
I think it's been 3. Yeah.
No, it happened. It started October 7th, 2023, right? So
I thought it was 2021. I could be wrong
it feels
about
like
that.
3 years. No, it's definitely 2023. Yeah.
Maybe I'm thinking about. I might be thinking about Ukraine then.
Yeah, you're thinking about Ukraine, yeah, and that's still going on too. Yeah, holy shit!
Uh-huh.
Like we were talking about some operations that happened recently on the last episode.
Don't be surprised if the next episode of this is just World War III is started.
Yeah, yeah, at this rate, yeah, pretty much. Well, that's it for today's episode. Anything else we want to say or recommend for next time or anything?
We're living on borrowed time at this point
Oh,
on this
yeah.
earth, I think. Like, I don't want to grow old anyway, so just fuck it.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna start drinking more and
I'm right there with you, buddy.
yeah, just gonna drink more, play some more video games that I never played, spend time with my girlfriend, spend
Oh
time
my
with my
God.
dogs.
Cherish the moments that, you know, we
Yeah,
have
drain-
remaining. Like,
Probably gonna drain my savings, stuff like that.
It's funny because you pretty much put forward what I was thinking earlier today. Like, I'm like, we go through all backlogs of games, make sure that I'm enjoying this shit while I still have time, spend time with my pets, spend time with, Miss Wizard, try and like make new connections in the meantime and enjoy life. Fucking, I was also
Yeah.
thinking, like, I don't have savings to drain right now, but I was also kind of thinking, like, even if I start making money, like, what is there to really invest in the future for? You know what I mean? Like, I'm
Yeah.
doing like my fucking adult content, I'm living my life. I'm spending as much time as I can with my family, and beyond that, like, who the fuck knows what's gonna happen in the next month or two? We could be fucking all like drafted into the last war that we ever see. Who the fuck knows at this point?
Bro, I'm not fighting a war. I'm just gonna go to prison.
Yeah, it's fucking take me to El
Me
Salvador. I don't
too.
give a shit.
I'll see you in jail, Trip.
Yep.
You gotta give me a few months and I'll be there. They're gonna annex Canada, and as soon as they try and fucking send me to
Oh,
the front
dude,
lines, I'll be coming to El Salvador too.
Bro, as soon as they annex Canada, I'm like, hey, at least I don't need a passport. Let's go.
El Salvador is going to become like Australia, where they just sent all the North Americans there that didn't want to go to war. It just becomes like a penal colony. Oh God, what a fucking nightmare.
Need you to build 5 more prisons.
I need you to dig this hole and make it very deep, and then we're going to shoot you in the back of the head, and you're going to fall right in, and it's going to be very nice. You're going to have
Yes,
your own
and then you
grave.
Beautiful prison.
And then you will not come track me because I took your platinum chip. You will not find me.
We were going to make it a mass grave, but we're doing you a big favor. We're giving your own individual graves. We found some more land to partition, so you each get your own grave. You're not laying down, you are standing up to save space, but it's going to be very nice. You're going to cement over it so your bodies don't come up in the rainy season.
They're gonna pave over us and they're gonna put a shopping mall for the next generation.
Yeah, they're going to give
Great.
they're going to give them the Louisiana special so the bodies don't fucking pop out of the ground.
Hell yeah.
Oh man, what a fucking dark end to this episode. You're like, yes, we're all gonna get taken to El Salvador and shot in the back of the head.
Wait, we're still recording? Fuck.
Yes. Dude, we've been recording for 2 hours and 15 minutes. Crazy. I need to.
Jesus.
All right, Tryptamine, Gord. It was excellent having this conversation and recording this episode today, but I have to go take a cold shower because it is disgustingly hot here.
Oh yeah, same.
Thank you both for coming on. I'm going to post the link to the document that is now empty here. And if at any point you want to add some stuff for the next episode, whenever that is, drop that shit there.
Will do.
Okay, copy link. Here we go. All right. You both have a good rest of your night. I will talk to you shortly.
Peace out.
Peace.
Peace.